Imagine a metropolis at the height of its glory. Bustling markets, heated politics, and endless revelry suddenly brought to a complete halt in a matter of seconds. Not because of war or plague, but because a mountain that had always been considered a protector decided to wipe them off the map. Today, we see more than just ruins. We see the final moments of people whose breath was taken away by 700 degrees Celsius gas, leaving their bodies as eternal statues that bear silent witness to nature's wrath. This is the chronology of the last 24 hours of Pompeii, the city buried alive by Vesuvius. In 79 AD, Pompeii was the jewel of the Roman Empire. Situated on the shores of the Bay of Naples, the city was a haven for Rome's elite. Life here was remarkably modern. A sophisticated drainage system, a grand amphitheater, and street bars serving the finest wines. Above them stood Mount Vesuvius, a lush, green giant. The people of Pompeii didn't know the word volcano. To them, Vesuvius was simply a large hill that provided fertile soil for their vineyards. However, nature had already given warnings. For years, small earthquakes had become frequent. The villagers' wells began to dry up for no apparent reason, and their livestock began behaving strangely. But the people of Pompeii were too arrogant in their civilization to dismiss the earthquakes as mere whispers from the gods. They continued to feast, trade, and sleep soundly under the shadow of the monster that was about to explode. At 1 p.m. on August 24, a deafening explosion ripped through the sky. Vesuvius hadn't just erupted, it had exploded with the force of thousands of atomic bombs. A column of black smoke 30 kilometers high shot into the atmosphere, completely obscuring the sun. In an instant, daylight turned into pitch-black night. This was the beginning of a mini-apocalypse that would wipe out civilization in less than a day. The disaster came in two deadly waves. The first wave was a hail of pumice lapilli. For hours, light but sharp stones fell from the sky, piling up to 20 feet high. Many residents were trapped inside their homes, their doors blocked by the piles of rocks. The roofs of stately homes began to collapse, unable to withstand the weight of thousands of tons of volcanic material. At this point, many were still hoping it would be over. They hid under tables or in basements, unaware that they were digging their own graves. At 1 a.m. the next morning, Vesuvius unleashed its ultimate weapon, a pyroclastic flow. This wasn't slow-flowing lava. It was a cloud of toxic gas and hot ash that shot down the mountainside at over 300 kilometers per hour. Temperatures within the cloud reached 700 degrees Celsius. There was nowhere to run, no time to scream. When this cloud struck the city, anyone inside or outside died instantly. The heat was so intense that people's brains vaporized and their bones shattered within milliseconds. Their lungs blistered as they tried to breathe in the acrid volcanic ash. This was the moment of freezing. The fine volcanic ash quickly covered their bodies, creating a perfect imprint of their final position as their lives were taken. After the pyroclastic flow passed, Pompeii disappeared. The city was buried under a layer of ash and rock, 6 to 7 meters high. The name Pompeii slowly disappeared from maps and human memory. For 1,700 years, the city lay dormant beneath the vineyards and orchards of Italian farmers, unaware that beneath their feet lay thousands of frozen bodies. By the 18th century, excavations began by accident. Archaeologists discovered something never before seen at other sites: hollow cavities within the hardened ash layer. When they injected liquid plaster into the cavities, the world was shocked. The cavities weren't just cavities, they were casts of human bodies. We see a mother cradling her child, two lovers embracing in their final moments, and a man covering his face as if begging the gods for mercy. Pompeii is unique because it doesn't leave us with cold bones, but with expressions of genuine fear, love, and despair. It's a stark reminder of humanity's vulnerability in the face of the forces of nature. Pompeii not only tells us how the Romans lived, but it also shows in stunning detail how they faced death. Vesuvius still stands there today, watching over the millions who now live in its shadow. Pompeii is an undeniable reminder that even the most sophisticated civilization can collapse overnight if nature decides so. Every stone we touch at this site carries the energy of those who never got to say goodbye. We learn from Pompeii not just for the past, but for our own future. Because on this dynamic planet, history always has a way of repeating itself.